Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Acupuncture's My Life, Eastern Nutrition. Okay, today's episode should be considered a pretty important episode to many individuals globally. Now, I've done extensive research on this topic, and numbers I've come across were alarming. It surprised me to find out that many individuals globally, not in every country or even on every continent, but it's spread out, but in the more developed countries and a good portion of the lesser developed countries, statistics are showing many individuals as being protein deficient and not aware of it. Okay, when it comes to diet, we need carbs and we need fat because that's what gives our muscles the fuel that it needs to function. More so carbs, because a lot of the fat is used for insulation and other reasons that I won't get into in this podcast. But carbs and some fat is used to fuel the muscles, and protein is there to repair and strengthen. But protein does more than just make muscles. It's one of the building blocks of life, where protein makes everything. Our body requires protein to an extent that many individuals are unaware of. Think of it this way. The most abundant protein in the body is type 1 collagen. And another type of protein in abundance is the type of protein that makes up 60% of the plasma in our blood, which is albumin. There are other types of proteins in the body as well, but protein is not just the building block of life. Protein makes everything. Think about our cellular structure. I mean, we're a composition of cells, massive amounts of cells. And each and every cell contains essential amino acids, which make up protein. You need it to repair your muscles. You need it, for a healthy and strong immune system, healthy blood, strong bones. Protein is extremely important. And as we're going along, and I have to say, more developed nations, is because more and more individuals are heavily focused on diets, what they're eating, vegan diets and so forth. And a lot of individuals' diets are lacking protein. Now, the other side of the fence as well is, people running around eating junk food, fast food, processed food, genetically modified organisms, all types of stuff. And they're not getting the daily required amount of protein needed to properly sustain ourselves on a regular basis. And even at the Acupuncture's My Life clinic here in New York City, I do give advice to some of my patients who come in with presenting as protein deficient with regard to whether it's injuries and so forth. And I'll go over some of the things that you should be mindful of that can be a signal to say, hey, you're protein deficient. But of course, before being able to present this podcast, I had to go up to the Eastern Nutrition Division of Acupuncture is My Life and sit down and talk with Chef Kiara about, with regard to the numbers that I came across, the importance of protein, so forth and so on. Because some of the signs that you should look out for is if you notice that you're getting injured over and over. Okay? You notice you're injuring yourself over and over. This is part of the reason why you need protein. Because without it, or if you're deficient in protein, you're vulnerable to injury. Again, when you eat protein, your muscles utilize the amino acids to rebuild and repair muscle. And another risk factor of eating or not eating enough protein is bone injuries. Fractures, little hairline fractures, stress fractures. If you notice you're getting that more than normal, and I don't even know what normal is, but if you notice, you're getting hairline fractures, stress fractures, protein. And now, the reason why I say I don't know what more than normal is what normal is because I'm not tying it to myself. I don't see many patients, or I haven't been part of many health symposiums or even discussions, virtual discussions with my colleagues who are acupuncturists, where we discuss cases of stress fractures and hairline fractures. It really just doesn't stand out. So that's why I said that. I'm not going to mislead you to give you a baseline on anything, and I'm not even aware of what the baseline should be. But to continue on, another sign of protein deficiency is if your strength, your muscles, where is it? Where did it go? Muscle atrophy, it seems like you're losing muscle, almost as if it's overnight. You see, you need protein just to live. Okay? And with that being said, if you're not ingesting enough protein, you'll begin to break down muscles or muscle tissue just to get it. So if it looks as if you're losing muscle, and you may continue to do light workouts, take care of yourself, do a few push-ups or whatever the case may be, but it seems as if you're losing muscle mass. Your body's breaking down your muscle tissue to get the protein to make up for the amount of protein you need to sustain yourself that you're not taking in. Okay? So keep that in mind. Even, let's say, when you do exercise. I know when you go to a gym or you speak to individuals that exercise, they into these protein shakes, which I don't agree with. Food is the best source. A box of powder is garbage to me. Would never touch it. But that's just my opinion. But you can just go, let's say 2-3 days a week, have a nice leg workout, but your recovery time is like awful. You feel pain in the legs for several days. You see, protein is needed for better recovery. And especially like right after you exercise, if you eat protein or get protein from food sources, you'll recover faster because, as I stated earlier, it facilitates muscle repair. And it restores the body's glycogen stores, which is very important. So when you're putting together a diet plan, diet regimen, and I'll discuss some of the best sources to get protein from, you have to be conscious not just of carbs, because so many people in developed nations are focused on carbs. You need carbs for energy. Your brain requires carbs. Upwards of 70% of the carbs you take in, your brain utilizes on a daily basis. So really, like, skipping on carbs, then you feel mentally fatigued. But this isn't a discussion about carbs, it's about proteins. Everything in balance, everything in moderation. This is why I say over and over, see your acupuncturist for regular wellness visits. Because it's all about the theory of yin and yang. It's all about balance. When there's balance, the human organism can self-regulate. And I say this over and over. You have to understand, health is wealth. The wealth isn't in the bank. It's not in the safe. It's not in your pocket. It's not in the purse or your purse. It's not under the mattress. It's not in the shoebox in the closet. It's not under the doghouse in the backyard. It's in you, and you have to understand that. But here's what's key, especially at a time like this. Here's what's key. If you notice you're getting sick a lot, and especially nervous about a particular virus, it could be any type of virus, or have been affected by a particular virus, and your recovery period was awful, and you also notice you're getting sick a lot from other ailments, that can be a sign you're lacking enough protein. You're not meeting your daily protein requirements. Because guess what? The amino acids are the building blocks of antibodies. And antibodies are what help you fight off infections, especially upper respiratory infections. Okay? So think about it. Sort of connect the dots here. And think about how much protein relative to your immune system can help you. Protein is super important, and many, many people globally are lacking in that area. Another is feeling tired, feeling weak. A lot of people with anemia, iron deficiency. Who's anemic? The relationship, protein, is part of hemoglobin, which is what carries oxygen. All right? Now, iron is essential for hemoglobin and healthy red blood cells. Now, hemoglobin is what carries the oxygen to your muscles. And when you're iron deficient, you're going to feel tired and weak a lot. And many individuals do not understand protein deficiency plays a big part in this. Also, protein plays a part in satiety. When you sit down to eat and you don't have enough protein on your plate, trust me, you may be eating again within the next hour. Okay? This is why balanced diet is important. Yin and yang, acupuncture, it's all about balance. I say this over and over. You can see your physician for annual or semi-annual visits, but make sure you're seeing your local acupuncturist for regular wellness visits, whether it's seasonal, whether it's monthly, bi-monthly, weekly, bi-weekly. That's between yourself and your acupuncturist. But the best sources of protein: eggs, fish, chicken, some red meat, some. Don't look to just focus on legumes, beans, whole grains, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. It's not enough. Yes, does it have protein? Does it provide protein? Yes, it does. But it's not enough. And this is why I say over and over, just sitting with your local acupuncturist or acupuncturist in my life, when you undergo regular wellness visits and Eastern nutrition counseling, because your acupuncturist is going to talk to you about your diet. And then if you have an acupuncturist who loves doing abdominal acupuncture, such as myself, there's a lot out there. Forget about it. Your body's going to get what it needs, the essence it needs from the foods, quality foods in which you ingest. This is why I say you have to make acupuncture a part of your life. Because acupuncture is my life. What's yours?